How's it going, guys? My name is Zach with the Movie Castle, and today I'm going to be starting a new series. If you guys have followed the channel, quite obviously during October I was talking about a bunch of Halloween-specific movies, and come December I'm going to be talking about a bunch of Christmas horror movies. So what to do for November and probably also January? Well, I realized it's really cold out there. This jacket isn't just for show, it is legitimately cold, and I realized, hey, now is the time of year to get to all those snowy horror movies. And I looked around to try to see if there was enough to do a series with them, and yes, there is definitely enough to do a series. But that being said, if you guys have any recommendations, I would definitely be interested in hearing what you guys have to say. I don't know if I'll be able to find the DVDs and get to them in time, but if you guys have any recommendations for cool, snowy horror movies, definitely let me know. Anyway, without further ado, today we're going to be talking about Shredder from 2001. This is directed by Greg Huson, and this is the second and last movie he would ever direct. He did do other stuff. He directed some TV, and I think he did some editing work. But yeah, second and final movie for this guy. Also, we are starring Scott Weinger, Lindsey McKeon, and Juleah Weikel. And this is a skier slasher movie. The killer is a skier, and all the teens are snowboarders, and there's a rivalry, and he's going to be picking them off at an abandoned ski lodge. I guess let's go ahead and do the plot summary. Now, I'm just going to be talking about the plot really quick, and I won't cover any major spoilers, so I'll be avoiding the end bits. But just a really quick, what is this movie about? We open up with a group of radical 90s kids. Yeah, this movie's technically from 2001, but the air of the 90s is very much alive here. These kids are going to an abandoned ski lodge. The main girl is really rich, and her father's in the process of buying this old abandoned lodge, so they're only kind of trespassing. They're gonna go there and they're going to snowboard. Along the way, we pick up a mysterious European hitchhiker who at first throws the relationship dichotomy into shambles as various women start to fall for him. But then later on, when mysterious things start happening, he'll be a suspect. Another suspect is this friend. You see, one of them is a big-time skier guy, and as a joke, the girl invited his #1 rival out to the slopes with him, but when he doesn't show up and things get mysterious, we have another suspect. But anyway, they're going to this abandoned ski resort, which is a cool enough set, but I do kind of wish it was a little bigger and more marvelous. I mean, they said it was supposed to be really old, but you know, you think we would see a bunch more of the set than we actually do. I kind of wish they filmed at a real ski... It might be a real ski resort, but they definitely didn't take advantage of how cool and epic the set could be. But anyway, they're there, and when they go in, they get some setup, you know? People in the town warn them the place is haunted. You talk about classic horror movie setups, you know, there's a guy in the bar that's basically the bike guy from Friday the 13th. But anyway, the story here is that there was a girl on skis, a little girl, and a couple of snowboarders got drunk and ran her into a tree by mistake. Again, classic slasher setup. It was an accident, we didn't mean to, and now there's a killer out there. So yeah, if you know your slashers, familiar setup, but the rumor is that the little girl's ghost is haunting the abandoned ski resort. Now that being said, we've already seen the killer by this point. We know it's not a little girl, the killer is a grown-up, but that's the story. But this movie never pretends to be a ghost movie, so there's that. But anyway, the killer does eventually show up, and the killer's a pretty cool design. It kind of reminds me of the miner from My Bloody Valentine, you know, all dressed in black with legitimate gear covering their face. It's an outfit that people wear in real life, but if someone was killing people in it, who could they be? And yeah, the killer is a skier, and the people that he's picking off are all snowboarders. He hates snowboarders, and you get the front of the thing, death to snowboarders. I, to be honest, didn't know that there was that big a rivalry. I didn't think anyone really cared whether you went on skis or snowboards, but this movie says that the two groups hate each other, so okay. And anyway, they will eventually start to get picked off, realize that they're in danger, and try to escape the killer, which, by the way, the killer in this movie is literally credited as Evil Skier. Evil Skier, that's a great name. Overall, this movie's okay. It really isn't great, but it's nothing I can really complain about. It's just kind of a silly early 2000s slasher movie, and, you know, you watch it, have a few laughs, but it's nothing you're gonna remember too terribly long, which, part of the reason I'm doing this review when I'm doing it, I just watched it, and I quite quickly finished up my notes and went over to the camera, because this is one of those movies that I have a feeling I'm going to forget really quickly, so I gotta get the review done really, really quick. Yeah, not a bad movie, but not super memorable. Let's talk about a few of the things with this movie. As I hinted at earlier, this movie's very 90s. Yeah, technically it came out in 2001, but the spirit of the 90s was still upon this movie. You get them going down the mountain, and some, like, you know, 90s ska music starts playing, and it's an action montage of them being super hip and cool snowboarders. They do a bunch of that humor that, you know, the 90s, hey, what are you doing? You know, jokes that are just a little out of touch, and you get one of the guys almost like Bill and Ted, you know, going, whoa, dude, you know, stuff like that. It really does have the feel, and, you know, like I said, this is into the early 2000s, so you can see it becoming just a little out of touch by this point. You know, they're actually, quite recently I talked about, in my Halloween series, Halloween Resurrection, and it's not as bad as the out-of-touch 90s-ness in Halloween Resurrection, but it's actually kind of similar, you know. Every now and then they'll talk about the internet, you know, and one of them is carrying around a video camera because kids loved camcorders back in the day, and yeah, very 90s. You can definitely also see the influence of Scream. The killer is a mystery killer, which they used to do all the time back in early slashers, but when the big guys started getting very franchised, it's not really a mystery that Jason's killing people. So the mystery element was gone from slashers up until Scream, and this is an example of it coming back. And yeah, about the humor, quite randomly, a little thing that bugged me, towards the end, one of the guys makes a joke to the killer saying, ah, you can't kill me, I'm a virgin. And it's like, whoa, this isn't Scream. You guys know you're not making Scream, right? That's a joke about slasher movie tropes, and you didn't set up that you are doing that up until the very end of the movie, and then we just get one out of nowhere. Yeah, I don't know. And they also, like, he made that joke directly to the slasher killer. They make jokes even after they know people are getting killed. That's, yeah, the humor is not 100% on with this. Also, not 100% on the relationship drama stuff in this movie. The girl is with her boyfriend, yet she's not letting him go too far, which is fine, but then she starts openly hitting on other men, and that European guy that comes around, she is going to, like, right in front of her boyfriend, start hitting on the European guy, and then there's quite obvious, this girl that's just his friend, quite obviously really likes him, and gee, I wonder where this plot is going. So yeah, so standard relationship drama that's gonna fill up a lot of the non-killy parts of this movie. And also, I guess I should mention, this has that kind of PG-13 dirty movie feel to it. Now, technically this movie's rated R, but the R rating on this really is a joke. But when it comes to it being a dirty movie, yeah, the characters constantly talk about sex, constantly joke about sex, yet, you know, despite that so much of the dialogue is about this, it still has a PG-13 feel behind it. So there's that. More on the rating when we get to the kills, but yeah, this kind of feels like they definitely held back a lot of that stuff more than what the script initially said. But let's talk about those kills. The kills are, some of them are okay, and some of them it's like I want to like more than I did. There's one, probably the best kill in the movie, where a girl gets hung off the side of a ski lift, and she's up there for quite a while just going around and round. That's cool. I wish I liked it a little better, but there's definitely parts where you can tell she's got a harness on her back or it's a mannequin, and it's a little obvious there. There's a few other things, like the killer will make a snow angel with a dead body. That's cool. And at one point, the killer hides a dead body inside of a snowman. Okay, that's funny. But really, other than that, this is a slasher movie with not too many characters, and a lot of the kills, when they happen, kind of feel like a waste, you know, because none of them are Jason worthy. Really, a lot of the kills in this movie are just kind of so-so. Oh, a guy got stabbed with an icicle. Okay, cool, I guess. And yeah, a lot of them are so-so. The ones I mentioned earlier are fine, but still, nothing in here Jason worthy. And again, like I hinted at earlier, this movie has an R rating, but again, that is kind of a joke. And it says at the very front, violence and gore. Okay, I can give you violence. People are getting murdered here. It is a slasher movie. But gore? No, the most minor gore. It's really just blood. There's no special effects. There's no Tom Savini stuff. It's just blood. And they do a fair amount of blood. Not Sam Raimi blood, but there is a bit of blood. But the thing is, that's what they mean when they say gore. It's nothing special, nothing creative. It's just the ratings board being a bunch of old, out-of-touch people. I say that now, and this movie's almost 20 years old. They see blood, they freak out. And directors know this, which is why, if they can do it, they'll change the color of the blood. You make blood green, you make blood black. There's actually a few movies where they digitally change the color of the blood for the trailer so that they'll let them put it in the trailer. But if blood's a different color, it's not blood, you know? And that really is, I mean, maybe they swear too much, I don't know. But it's that and the blood, and that's really the only reason this is rated R. This movie's pretty tame, and if it was Tom Savini-esque, I definitely would remember it a lot more. You know, get the Tom Savini kills, get a better haunting score. I mean, okay, when it played the 90s music, and it plays a ton of 90s music because it thinks it's cool, admittedly there is a bit of nostalgia hearing this goofy old 90s music, but still, not the best choice to be haunting. And also, so many scenes are in broad daylight in the snow, and it's like the terror of broad daylight. You know, so it's not the best, but it is goofy enough that, you know, kind of out of touch 90s feel that this movie had. You know, there's a difference between being legitimately 90s cool and being a Hollywood team trying to replicate it. It's kind of got a bit of a goofy feel behind it, and I think that is the best way. It's not hilariously stupid. It's not so bad it's good, but if you want to go in with a bit of irony, I think that's the best way to approach this movie. So yeah, it's kind of forgettable. It doesn't push hard enough. It's not a hard R, and that would have helped it stand out. As it stands, though, it's fine. I'm going to, in the future, I hope, watch the movie Cold Prey, which it sounds like does this concept a lot better. Old abandoned ski resort. So I'm really looking forward to that one. But anyway, to everyone who's watched so far, thank you for watching. To everyone who's liked and subscribed, thank you. You really are helping the channel out. I'll leave a relevant playlist on the bottom. This should be my slasher movies playlist, which, last I checked, is over 100 videos long, which is pretty crazy. But if you want to see me talk about a bunch of slasher movies, you can find those there. Friday the 13th, Halloween, you know, a bunch of them. Anyway, have a good day. I'll see you guys again very, very soon. Relevant playlist on the bottom. Have a good day now.